When I was 10, I used to believe the world was simple. People were either good or bad. Dreams were easy to chase. And every evening, the sky turned orange, as if the universe itself was saying, "Tomorrow will be another beautiful day." I didn't know then that growing up meant losing that certainty. I didn't know that one day I would question everything. My choices, my relationships, even who I really was. Now, if I could talk to that 10-year-old version of me, what would I say? I'd tell him it's okay to be different. You see, when I was 10, I wanted so badly to fit in, to be liked, to have friends who thought I was funny, cool, normal. I remember hiding my favorite books because others thought reading was boring. I remember laughing at jokes I didn't find funny, just to belong. If I could meet that little boy now, I'd kneel down, look him in the eyes and say, "You don't have to change who you are to be accepted. The right people will find you. And when they do, they will love you for exactly who you are." Because fitting in is temporary, but being true to yourself lasts forever. I'd tell him that failing is not the end. When I was 10, failure felt like the end of the world. A bad grade, a missed goal, a teacher's disappointment. Each one felt like a label that said, "You're not good enough." But life has a funny way of turning failures into direction signs. You fail, you learn, you grow. The pain becomes a teacher. The mistakes become maps. So I'd tell my younger self, don't be afraid to fall. Every failure you face will lead you closer to who you're meant to be. Don't quit just because it's hard. Great things rarely come from comfort zones. I'd tell him to be kinder, especially to himself. At 10, kindness meant sharing snacks or saying thank you. But as an adult, I learned that the hardest kind of kindness is forgiving yourself. We are taught to forgive others, but we are so cruel to ourselves. We replay our mistakes again and again until guilt becomes part of our identity. If I could hold that child's hand, I'd whisper, "One day, you'll make mistakes. You'll hurt people. You'll hurt yourself. But when that happens, forgive. Forgive yourself first, because you cannot grow while holding on to guilt." Self-forgiveness is not weakness. It's how you heal. I'd tell him that people leave, and that's okay. When I was 10, I thought friendships lasted forever. We promised to stay in touch, to never forget each other. But people drift apart, lives change, and sometimes love fades quietly, without anyone doing anything wrong. I used to think losing someone meant I failed, but now I know some people are meant to walk with us for a chapter, not the whole book. So I'd tell my younger self, when people leave, let them. Be grateful for the page they wrote in your story. Don't chase those who walk away. Their part in your journey might simply be over. And that's okay, because new people will come, bringing new lessons, new love. I'd tell him to call his parents more. When you're 10, your parents are always there. You think they'll never change, never grow old, never fade. But one day you wake up and you realize they're not as strong as they used to be. Their voices shake. Their steps slow down. And suddenly you wish you had one more dinner together, one more call, one more chance to say, "Thank you." I'd tell that child, don't take love for granted. Hug your mom tighter. Talk to your dad longer. The people who love you most are not here forever, so love them loudly while you can. I'd tell him to keep the curiosity alive. When I was 10, I asked 1,000 questions a day. Why is the sky blue? Where does the sun go at night? Do stars make wishes come true? But as we grow up, we stop asking. We trade wonder for routine. We stop looking at the stars because we're too busy looking at our phones. So I'd tell that kid, keep your curiosity. Never stop asking why. The world is full of magic. For those who keep looking, curiosity will lead you to your purpose. It's the spark that keeps your soul alive. I'd tell him to choose people who choose you. At 10, friendships were simple. You liked someone, you played together. But adulthood taught me that not everyone who smiles is your friend. Not everyone who claps for you wants to see you win. So I'd tell my younger self, pay attention to energy. If someone makes you feel small, that's not love. Real friends don't compete with you, they cheer for you. Don't beg for love, time, or attention. You deserve people who freely give it. The right people won't make you question your worth. I tell him that time is both slow and fast. When you're 10, a year feels like forever. You can't wait to grow up, to be free, to make your own choices. But as an adult, time runs faster than you can hold it. Days blur into months, years vanish quietly, and suddenly you find yourself saying, where did it all go? So I tell that little boy, don't rush. Growing up is not a race. Be fully where you are. Enjoy the boring days. They will be the ones you miss the most later. I'd tell him that success is not about winning. When I was 10, I thought success meant being first, winning competitions, getting good grades, making people proud. But now I know, success is quieter. It's about sleeping peacefully at night, knowing you did your best. It's about being kind when you could have been cruel. It's about staying humble when you could have shown off. I'd tell him, don't measure your worth by numbers, medals, or likes. You're already enough, even when no one claps. I'd tell him to remember his dreams. At 10, I wanted to be everything. A writer, a teacher, an astronaut. But life has a way of making you forget what you once loved. Responsibilities, bills, expectations, they all pile up. And one day you wake up, realizing you've been living someone else's dream. So I'd tell that boy, never stop dreaming. The world will try to make you realistic, but realism is just another word for fear. Hold on to your dream, even if you chase it slowly, because dreams don't expire. they just wait for courage. I'd tell him that growing up means learning to let go. Letting go of friends. Letting go of plans. Letting go of the person you thought you'd be. It's not failure, it's growth. Because every version of you deserves to live fully and then rest when its time has come. So I'd tell him, you don't have to hold on to everything. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you start trusting that life knows what it's doing. And sometimes, that trust is all you need. I'd tell him that love will find you. At 10, love was simple. You liked someone, you shared your lunch. But as you grow up, love becomes complicated. It breaks you, teaches you, heals you, and breaks you again. Yet it's still the most beautiful thing we'll ever know. Tell my younger self, one day, love will find you when you least expect it. It may not be forever, but it will be real. And every love, even the short ones, will teach you something priceless. Because love always finds us, not to complete us, but to remind us that we were never truly alone. I tell him that life is not a straight line. We imagine life as a ladder, one step leading to another. But life is more like a dance, sometimes forward, sometimes backward, sometimes standing still. You'll lose jobs. You'll lose people. You'll lose yourself. And then, you'll find all of them again, in new ways. So I'd say, don't panic when things fall apart. Sometimes falling apart is how life rearranges itself beautifully. Because even in the chaos, life still dances. I'd tell him to be present. If I could talk to him, I'd say, look around you. The smell of breakfast, the sound of rain, the laughter of your friends. These small moments will become your treasures later. Don't rush through them. Because life is not made of big days. It's made of small ones we often forget to notice. And sometimes, the smallest moments are the most beautiful ones. And finally, I'd thank him. I'd thank that 10-year-old boy for his courage, his innocence, his wild imagination, his unshakable belief that everything is possible. Because without him, I wouldn't be here. He was the dreamer, and I am just the continuation of that dream. Thank you for never giving up on me. So if you could talk to your 10-year-old self, what would you say? Would you apologize for being too hard on yourself? Would you thank them for their bravery? Or maybe you'd just hug them and whisper, "It's okay, you made it. You turned out all right." We spend our lives chasing who we want to become, but sometimes the person we truly need to find is the one we used to be.